Well, thank you all again for coming out this evening. My name is Jed Nolan, and I am the director of the West Virginia University College of Law Veterans Advocacy Law Clinic. We provide direct representation to veterans. This is a population that has obviously served our country, and they're entitled to a significant amount of benefits. And one of the problems we're seeing in West Virginia, for one, we have a very high population per capita of veterans in our state. We want to make sure that they're getting access to all these benefits that they're entitled to. And that's one of the reasons we're out here tonight, to talk to you all. If you're like me, I'm not a veteran, but I have a significant number of people in my family who are veterans. And learning about these opportunities, these benefits, and these services is crucial. And so spread the word, talk with people you know, and anyone who may be able to view this online. We're trying to reach out to you as well to inform you, let you know what tools are out there, because there are some significant benefits and tools that come along with the sacrifices they make.
I will ask one of the questions I was sent to ask.
Absolutely.
Do you want me to wait till after you're finished?
Let me talk about some of these slides for a little bit, and we may go over it, and then if not, I definitely want to hear your question. And if it comes up while we're going through, let me know. One of the first things I want to touch on is the Service Members Civil Relief Act. Now, this is for active duty military members. And so it's designed to ease the economic and legal burdens while you're actively serving your country. Who does this include? Active duty members, reservists, National Guard members on active duty are eligible. And it extends for a period from sometimes 30 days after you're done serving your active duty, other times up to a year, depending on the service. So if you know anyone who is serving currently or is coming back from active duty service, touch base with them. Let them know that we have some protections available under the Service Member Civil Relief Act, the SCRA for short. What kind of things does this cover? As you can see, we have a whole myriad of everyday life. Mortgage interest rates, credit card interest rates, evictions, rental agreements, security deposits, interest on your own money that you're depositing into your account, civil lawsuits against you, people trying to collect money from you, automobile leases. There's a whole number of things that the SCRA touches on, pretty much any facet of life. So again, if you're active duty military, you need to be aware of this. Talk to somebody about this. I want to touch on some of the highlights of the SCRA. Mortgage and foreclosures. If you have a mortgage and you're serving on active duty, the mortgage company is required to cut your interest rate down to 6%. That's going to be a significant savings for a lot of veterans while they're on active duty. Especially here in West Virginia, we have a high number of people who have loans through Vanderbilt Mortgage Company, double wides, modular homes, single wide trailers. While these are very good, suitable housing, a lot of times they come with high interest rates. If you're paying 18% interest on your mortgage, on your home loan, let them know while you're in active duty. They're going to cut your interest rate down to 6% while you're serving. And that's going to be a significant savings every month on your monthly bill, and make it easier, especially if your wife and kids are at home. If you have your dependents at home living in your home, it's going to be a significant benefit to them. They can't lender, and a lot of times in West Virginia, we're what's called a non-judicial foreclosure state. They don't have to ask the court's permission. If you get behind on your mortgage payment, they can just go to the courthouse steps after providing notice in the newspaper and letting you know, and they can sell your house right then and there. Not if you're a veteran, though, and not if you're serving on active duty under the SCRA. They have to get a court order. That's a significant benefit that most West Virginians do not have. And again, the whole idea is you're off serving your country. Your home's not going to be pulled out from underneath you while you're off protecting and defending everyone else's rights. Very significant protection that's not available to others. Leases and eviction. You're in your apartment. Your dependents are back here while you're serving on active duty. They can't get an eviction from you as easily as they would be otherwise. You're allowed to tell the court, look, the breadwinner's on active duty military. Here's why it's tough on the household financially. At that point, the proceedings get stayed. Versus every other West Virginia, if you're behind on the rent, the landlord can go to magistrate court and have you tossed out in relatively short order. And so this is another key way, another key protection veterans have, and active duty military service members have up to a year in a lot of these cases afterward, after they're off active duty. Be aware, talk to anyone you know. Talk to that kid who lives down the street who you know is over serving and he just got back. Let them know. They need to follow up on some of these protections. Credit card interest rates. A lot of these credit cards, as we heard earlier, they can charge up to 29.99%, especially if you miss a payment. Well, not while you're serving on active duty. Those get cut down to 6%. Again, that's going to cause a significant savings while these service members are out there serving for us. Any debt beyond that 6% cap is going to be wiped out and forgiven. Again, a significant benefit. Special deposit program. Sometimes if someone's in a war zone, they don't have dependents, they can just save up some money. When they send money home and deposit it, there's a program that says they get 10% interest on any money they deposit while they're in active duty. That's going to be a significant way to not only save your money, but build some wealth while you're serving. Again, key protections available for service members as a way to say thank you. We just need to make sure people are aware of these. We need to get that word out. We heard earlier about fraud. Veterans can be a unique target for fraud because everyone loves to support the troops, and fraudsters like to take advantage of everyone's willingness and interest in supporting the troops. And again, a lot of times people, as we discussed earlier, will default to truth. They're going to say, if they're getting a call from someone who's wanting them to donate to a veterans charity, they're going to be likely to listen to that because it seems like a worthy cause. It seems like a noble cause. And so special deals for veterans. If you're a veteran and someone's calling you, telling you, we've got this offer that's too good to be true, that sounds amazing, and there are a lot of great programs available for veterans, but you also need to examine this very, very carefully. Check out the offers, check out who's making the offer, and never wire any money, never make any payments on the spot. Never do that over the phone. Never do that to someone who comes to your door. Always be skeptical. Don't just default to truth. Don't just trust people that they're telling you the whole story. Benefit scams. Lawyers are able to represent veterans when they're trying to obtain their benefits. Lawyers are not allowed to charge you an upfront fee to do that. Lawyers are allowed to work on what's called a contingency, that if they're successful in helping you obtain your benefits, they can get a certain percentage that's capped at a pretty low amount compared to other law. No one can charge you a fee to help you apply for your benefits. No one will charge you a fee to help you apply for benefits. Not the VA, not any licensed advocates. So if someone is offering to help you get the benefits that you've earned by becoming disabled in service, that is definitely a scam, and you just need to be aware of that. And again, a big key to tonight, even though we're not all veterans in this room, becoming aware, talking to people, letting them know. Charity scams, again, everyone wants to support the troops. Everyone wants to donate to a worthy cause, and everyone wants to do the right thing and trust that people are doing the same as you are. You just got to take precautions. Don't give money to people unless you can verify who they're with and where your money's going. Just be very careful. I want to spend a moment talking about another area of consumer protection that's not often generally thought of when people think about consumer protection, and that's bankruptcy. They want you to pay back your creditors a little bit. So what happens with the veterans who have a disability award through the VA that they earned by sacrificing their body for this country, those VA benefits could be somewhat significant, somewhat substantial. And on a monthly basis, it would a lot of times make it to where they couldn't file bankruptcy, because the bankruptcy test would look at these VA benefits and say, well, if you're making this much money every month, then we want you to pay back your creditors. And so what Congress has done is saying, we want to give veterans a leg up. We want to give them this ability to access bankruptcy. And so what they did is they said, we are not going to count your VA benefits when we're calculating whether you make too much money. And it's designed to help these veterans get a fresh financial start for whatever reason. They've been burdened with these bills, medical bills, unexpected illness, like I said, small business that you tried to start when they came back and it just didn't work out. Bankruptcy needs to be there to help them, and that's what the Haven Act does. And like I said, here's a whole laundry list of the types of benefits that you can have earned serving your country that will no longer be counted as income when you're filing bankruptcy. And it's designed to allow more people to get this access to this fresh start. Again, consumer bankruptcy is a tool. It's designed to help people get out of a bad financial situation and get into a fresh start so they can keep living their life without being chained to the constant cycle of paying your credit card bills, and then using your credit cards to pay for your regular expenses. And the Haven Act makes that easier for our veterans. Homeownership help. The VA Loan Guarantee Program. It allows eligible veterans to get homes with no down payment and with low closing costs. It's designed to get people who've served our country, get them into homes, let them partake in the American dream of home ownership. And the VA does this by guaranteeing the loans. The VA wants private lenders to lend this money, and they say that if the veteran defaults, if the veteran can't pay you back, then the VA itself is going to pay off that lender. And again, you know, veterans have a steady income stream. A lot of them are going to have eligibility for this program through their VA benefits, and the private lenders are loaning the money, and the VA says if they don't pay it back, the government will step in and make that payment to make the lender whole. And again, it's to enable veterans to get these loans with the least risk of loss upon foreclosure to both the veteran and the VA. We're going to get these veterans who've got these good incomes into a home, and we're going to make it easier to do that, because if you don't have your 20% saved up for a down payment on a house, it can be a high hurdle to get into home ownership, and they wanted to make it easier on veterans to get in these homes. The VA also lends money directly itself sometimes, and typically to veterans who are disabled or are going to have trouble on the private market. So just be aware of that as well. The main key, though, with the VA guarantee is that if the worst happens, if the veteran starts having trouble making their payments, there are protections in place. And a lot of private lenders, when you get in default, when you get behind on your payments, it can spiral and get out of control pretty quickly. What the VA does is kind of puts the brakes on the lenders. You can't just run straight to the courthouse. You can't just run straight to foreclosure. You got to try and work with the veterans. You got to try and talk to them, get their income. The emphasis has got to be on home retention before they can try to foreclose. They have to send a letter to the borrower. They have to try and make phone calls. They have to try and meet face to face. They have to make that available to these veterans. They can't just, like I said, run to the courthouse when the veteran's behind on payments. They got to say, what's going on? What can we do to help? Can we lower your payment? Can we come up with a modification plan? They can't do anything until there's at least three missed payments, which is usually 3 months. They can't run to the courthouse, like I said, without that. They can't run without the face-to-face meeting. The VA puts limits on the fees and charges that other lenders don't necessarily have. They can't keep running by your house every month to check and make sure that there's someone in there, which is a form of intimidation some lenders use to try and get people shook, trying to shake money out of them, trying to increase the speed toward foreclosure. They're not allowed to keep knocking on your door every month once they know you're still in there. The VA can even, in some instances, refund the money and just take over the loan themselves. If the veteran shows enough need and the private lender is not going to work with them, the VA can take over that loan themselves. So there are a lot of foreclosure protections available for veterans in these cases. that aren't available to the general public. And that's one of the key benefits of getting a VA loan for these veterans. Again, like I said, these are just some of the myriad of protections and programs out there that I wanted to highlight that veterans are entitled to through their service to our country. If you have further information or further questions that we didn't touch on today, I've got my contact information on the screen, and I want you to reach out. The Veterans Advocacy Clinic at the College of Law engages in direct representation of veterans. We have applications available. We represent veterans statewide. We're not geographically limited to Morgantown or Charleston. Talk to us. If we can't help you, we want to find someone who can. So I don't know if I got to the questions you had earlier, but please let me know what you have.
One of my friends has TRICARE for life.
Okay.
She and her husband were both in the military and he died when they were like 19. But now she's old enough to be eligible for Medicare, and her Part A is through TRICARE, but her Part B is through Medicare. How did that happen? But she asked me, I couldn't tell her.
Yeah, so when you get with issues of benefits, that, you know, who's going to pay? Is TRICARE going to be responsible for the veteran? Is Medicare going to be responsible? If Medicare is offering a service that's unique from what TRICARE is offering, you get into a matter of, you have to look into the contracts, you have to look into the coverage, benefits, explanations, and it gets a lot trickier when you're digging down into that. So I would encourage her, if you want to take an application with you tonight, I want her to fill that out and contact us so we can take a look. We can request those contracts from those providers and make sure that they're actually providing her the coverage she's entitled to.
But it was really strange. Her military ID, she uses that at the doctor in lieu of a Medicare card.
Yeah.
Even though she does have Part B benefits.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely want to follow up with her further.
Okay.
Yeah. Mr. Sheridan.
You were talking about bankruptcy earlier, and if somebody falls behind on their home, and if they file bankruptcy, I mean, would they lose their home, or is there anything bankruptcy can do to help them?
The typical lawyer answer I'm going to give you is it depends.
Okay.
Bankruptcy will put a stop to any foreclosure proceedings that are occurring at that specific moment. It's called the automatic stay, which once you file bankruptcy, all the debt collectors, everyone you owe money to, everyone has to put their hands in the air. When you file bankruptcy, if you own a home, they still have a lien on your home, so they could try to proceed and proceed with foreclosure, but they would have to get court permission before they were allowed to do that. Now, one of the things bankruptcy, again, like I said, it's a tool. It's a consumer protection tool. There are types of bankruptcy where you can file and you can propose to repay that over the term, over a longer term that would give you a more beneficial payment plan, repayment plan that you can afford. And at that point, you definitely need to speak with an attorney to get the best advice. But a bankruptcy can absolutely help and be very beneficial to anyone who's behind on their mortgage. And then it would be definitely worth talking with an attorney to get those options and that advice. Thank you, guys.
Okay. So we have lots of extra food. I'm gonna probably just take this to my office unless somebody wants to take it. I'm gonna get one with me. Yeah. I know how ravenous your staff is, though. Oh my goodness. You ain't kidding.
Very, very good. Time-wise, put it back.
I really enjoyed the presentation. It was really informative. I know the veteran stuff didn't really apply to me, but there's just a lot of information to take in that you would never really think of, or if I had friends that would get out, probably have no idea if any of that stuff existed. You know?
That's the main goal, is to just put something in your mind, that way if you talk, if you
Yeah.
see someone.
And I feel like that would be really important for somebody my age. I'm turning 24 next month and right out of college, or I have friends that are right out of college or out of the military that would really benefit Yeah, I thought it was
But
really
you grabbed an application.
I
That's great.
did. I'll give it to her.
Would
No,
you have another one?
it's like I told you, if you want to know something, come and ask, because there's always follow-up questions.
Especially with those coverage.
Yeah, they get
history.
complicated.
Yeah.